I'm really looking forward to this one. It's been a while. Welcome to Visual Disturbance.
Got one that can see.
Well, shalom, everybody out there in the YouTube world. It's been a long time. Let me dust my shoulders off. Let me dust the channel off. It's been a long time since we've been live, and I'm glad to be here. Welcome to the jungle of insanity. We are floating around on an invisible raft here in the scary skull, megalithic skull-like structure to bring you a new show to Visual Disturbance channel. Let's just grab us some sweet tea or, well, like I got my coffee, my favorite coffee cup. Welcome to Visual Disturbance channel, because we are fixing to dive into some wild world news. This is not your typical news program. I try to get away from a lot of the typical stuff, and that's why I'm doing this broadcast today. And welcome everybody that's new subscribers to the program. It's called News That Is Not For Everybody. Some people said, hey, you should have put everyone, but I just wanted to be kind of myself on this one. News that is not for everybody, and I'm really looking forward to this one. So, this news, right? So the news and narratives and everything everything that's going on is not for the, let's just say, for folks that are, what's it called? The high Fulton, I think it's how you say it, folks in their ivory towers. It's all us regular folks from the hollers of Kentucky, where I'm at, to the skyscrapers of, well, you know, New York City. It's a heartbeat of our world as far as the news, anchors, and all this nonsensical stuff that goes on in our realm. And the pulse that keeps us out of sync, which I would say it makes us go mad, because it pulls you to and fro. When you're literally getting pulled in every direction, hey, north, east, west, south, hello, it spells news. There's a little comical relief there. This is not going to be your traditional program that I usually do. I do a lot of serious programs, but I'm going to try to be more laid back, more humorous, and just upbeat. And if this is something that you all enjoy, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I really would appreciate it. It helps with the algorithm. So let's just be honest. So we have this news. We have some news that can just be dry as a bone and dull as a dishwasher. I think I just come up with that just randomly in my head there. So that's why we are spicing things up here and to make this news entertainment as far as entertainment purposes. But there's going to be a lot of logistic information that I think is deemed for archaeology standpoint and what's really going on in the world behind scenes. And we're going to take a look at the world of what's going on, and, you know, hey, a wink and a nod and a little bit of humor and a lot of soft-hearted fun. So welcome to the broadcast. We're going to be talking about some intriguing things and what makes the gears turn news that matters. Not politics, economics, but I'm going to be diving into some quirky and curious, you know, like this chicken here. He's a little confused. He's got some confusion going on there. Well, let's just say he's thinking about either going to the local hardware store or maybe trying to get running water. I don't know what's going on there, folks. But anyways, welcome to the Visual Disturbance channel. I am your host, Brian Reese, And before we get into today's broadcast, I want to direct your attention to last Sunday night's broadcast. We had a fabulous program with David Carrico. It's in the left-hand corner. It'll keep scrolling back and forth. We did a excellent program on FLJC radio. We did Cities Lost in Time, Mysteries of Göbekli Tepe. And also go check out Doctrine of Christ. The link is in the description. Episode 5 of Season 9 with Jillian. And then we also have Holy Commission Boot Camp coming up today with Brother Brett. Go check that out. But the link's in the description. The Sunday Night Live we did with Göbekli Tepe, the mystery of the Adam's skull. That was a very astonishing. There was a lot of astonishing things in that program. And just to hone in on that site was just amazing. I thought it was just awesome. It was a really good program. Go check out Cities Lost in Time on FLJC Radio. And also, in the corner left-hand screen, go check out, I'm going to support Now You See TV here on this program because I love them guys very much. Go check out everything on the Midnight Ride. You'll see a little thing in the left-hand corner of the screen there with the logo. The link is in the description. Last Midnight Ride program that aired on Saturday. It's every 11 p.m. Eastern Time on every Saturday evening. And one thing I want to fail to mention, we also do, when we do the Sunday Night Lives on FLJC, it's always at 8 p.m. Eastern Time and 7 p.m. Central Time. So keep an eye out for all that. But hey, there's something else to say, something real comical, a little fun humor. This Friday on FLJC Friday Night Live, it's going to be an interesting title. So it's going to be called "Would Jesus Eat a Mouse?" Would Jesus eat a mouse? Well, David's going to be bringing it on Friday for sure. So keep your eyes on that. It's going to be pretty epic. Would Jesus eat a mouse on Friday Night Live? You just can't make this stuff up. So, all right. So let's get into something here. Give a big shout out to Shake and Wake Radio. Miss Ann always puts out her broadcasts, puts them on radio format. God bless you, Ann. Glad to be part of the Shake and Wake Radio community. Thank you for supporting us in that way. And also, I have I don't do this enough, and there's another one that I really do. This lady and her daughter do an amazing job. Miss the Esther Jades. Go check out Esther Jades. So yeah, Esther Jades, Everything Grows. Go check that out. Esther Jades is really cool. There's going to be a QR code here in a second. I will place it on the screen there for everybody to look at. Esther Jades, transform your life with natural solutions. The QR code is in the right-hand corner of the screen. Scan it, all that good stuff, and give a big shout to that lovely small company. So Esther Jades, big shout to you and all that you do. Go check out their Facebook page. So there's other thing I want to throw out here real quick. If you want to support the channel on Visual Disturbance, I really would appreciate it if you could go check out my coffee page at the very right-hand corner. The link's in the description. The link is in the chat. If you don't feel like donating, that's totally fine. The best thing you can do is share this thing out, and helps us with everything as far as the being kind of submerged in all the YouTube algorithms. So I really would appreciate it. It helps support the ministry, helps support the channel, and I really would appreciate it. And then on the right-hand corner of the screen, it's just sitting there flashing. Visual Disturbance, P.O. Box 324, Waco, Kentucky, 40385. If you want to send me some letters or anything, I had somebody send me some coffee not too long ago, and that was cool and epic. That was a blessing. So, anyways, all that cool stuff out of the way, all that cool stuff. Let's get into today's broadcast. Let's jump right on in. So, after that chicken narrative, that little chicken getting a spigot of water, we are going to go down the rabbit hole today, and we are going to talk about this gentleman, Edgar Cayce. Edgar Cayce was an American clairvoyant. This is a really, let's just say, controversial thing I can get into. I'm not going to go down too big of a rabbit hole, but I will say this. This gentleman was born in Christian County, Kentucky. Imagine that. We have a fellow Kentuckian. They also call him a sleeping prophet. A sleeping prophet. Well, the reason why I bring this up today, and I thought I'd deem it for, let's just say for the news program here that we're going to be starting on Visual Disturbance. So news that is not for everybody. So there's something that's news not for everybody. And it's something kind of in the realm of, it's been scattered abroad the last few months, even all the way up into February. There's something going on with this anomaly in Antarctica. Something really bizarre, something that keeps popping up in our, let's just say, not mainstream, but they are speaking about this, the buoy systems, etc. I've done programs on this. I did live streams on this topic. So, with Edgar Cayce here, Edgar Cayce is well known for the American clairvoyant. I've done a program with David Carrico talking about, he thinks, Edgar Cayce is, let's just say he thinks that we are, in quote, he says that we are like resurrected, like embodied spirits of Atlanteans. And I thought that was really a little wild. And if you follow anything on Visual Disturbance and FOJC, we do not believe that we are reincarnated or, resurrected into that state and all that good stuff, that we don't come from that. I say we probably have genetics and all the other stuff from the old tribes of old, but the powers that be, the fallen angels, the Nephilim, are pulling the strings. So I digress. Let's get back into it. Edgar Cayce predicted a pole shift before it was even scientifically measured. Well, I will tell you this, everybody that's watching the program. I am not a big fan of the whole pole shift narrative. I have my own take on that, but I'm not going to speak upon that today. So Edgar Cayce he had this whole pole shift, everything. He apparently started in 1958. And he was knowledgeable. This came out to be acknowledged in 2000 to 2001, which I think is interesting dates. With all the scientific studies of the shift was indeed of the South Atlantic Ocean region, right? So if you look at it and you look at this anomaly, that's where it's coming from. I want to point that out. So you have this anomaly that's coming out of the Atlantic. So was Edgar Cayce right on this specific topic? So when you get into this narrative and you think about like this pole shift, there's all these stuff that's not even biblical. There's all this New Age theology. It just goes down and it gets worse and worse as the rabbit trail goes. So you have different areas, different places, different geological stance on this, but I'll tell you my take on this. There's I think it's called the Hindu Yugas, and I think they have the I think it's called Zoroastrianism cycles. Say that 15 times. And the Greeks' ages of man, or the apocalypse. So they're interested in this back then, and Edgar Cayce was too, and talking about a 12,000-year-old, like a magnetic, let's just say, excursion. It's kind of bizarre, and he would talk about the pyramids of Giza and the hypothesis with that, and saltwater corrosion, and talking about the mantle of the South Africa, which would cause a rotation, supposedly, and close. Let's just closely monitor this Atlantic anomaly. And I will say this. This has been popping up, I think, since February, and it's just crazy. It's just so crazy. This has been popping off in the buoy system. We have these 80 or 90 foot waves. What is going on? Anybody want to feel free to comment in the chat? I really would appreciate it. So Edgar Cayce was warning of all these signs of pole shifts, eruptions, different mountain ranges, and I want to kind of focus on one particular one. I think he talked about Mount Etna, and I think mountain, let's see, I think it was mountain, let me see here. I think it's Mount Pelee, if I'm not mistaken. So I wanted to mention this. If there's any kind of like frequency or whatnot going on in our world today, has anybody been seeing anything weird? any animals acting weird, any kind of strange anomalies on the ground stance, anywhere in the areas. What do you all think? What's going on? Because everybody lives across this great plane of existence that we live upon. And what do you guys think? Because there's been something going on. There has been something going on here recently, and I want to point this out. In the last few days has been pretty wild. I think Hawaii had 77 earthquakes just within 24 hours. Keep in mind we have 400 underground bases in Antarctica. And then keep in mind, just want to throw this out here, folks, we have a cell phone outages again, and all this other craziness. What do you guys think? What is going on? And people seem to get so caught up into the ways of life that we don't, or not as observant as we should be. So the cell phone service, I've been having trouble getting a hold of Brother David. Everybody out into the northern stance, as far as north of me, I cannot for some reason get a full connection, or west of me, and I thought that was something to document. So I want to talk about another individual. Here. He's been on a lot of programs. We all know who he is. Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson has expressed a deep interest in the UFO. Well, now it's called unidentified aerial phenomenon. Hello. I had to get a little drink of coffee there. Get a little swig of coffee. Okay, so unidentified aerial phenomenon, and has made some thought-provoking comments on this subject, right? So he says, in quote, he's made he's been on all kinds of different programs, Joe Rogan, all these different huge main platforms. The Sean Ryan show just recently. He calls this phenomenon really, 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 really dark. And I think he's hinting at aspects that he finds deeply unsettling, disturbing, right? And Tucker here also indicated that the UFO phenomenon has a spiritual or supernatural element to it, suggesting that the presence of unseen positive and negative entities around us being involved. What do you guys think? The book of Genesis talks about the giants of old, talks about the sons of God that made with the daughters of men. I want to point that out for anybody out there that that literally discredits the whole and scoffs at that whole verse, and makes up man's traditions and man's, let's just say, mindset of what they think and their theological stance on it. They think that they just are an intellectual, more of advanced human, I guess, to speak and deem what they think. So let's just say Tucker Carlson with this phenomenon and the UAP, the Bible speaks of these things. I will point this out. I have not heard them speak of that. I think Tucker has made some comments about the biblical narrative and speaking upon those things in that light, but I'm not going to discredit him in any shape or form or disrespect him. I don't want to put words in his mouth that he did not say, but I will tell you this. These are fallen angels. Here in the Visual Disturbance community and Visual Disturbance and FOJC, we would deem these as fallen angels, fallen angelic powers, something that man cannot interpret it because the Bible says not to worship angels, not to get caught up in the rhetoric of like they did back in the day. That's when we had all kinds of manipulation and nephilim and Raphaim coming around, and then we have the days of Noah, and now I think, in my opinion, we are in the days of Noah, and like it was back in the day with all the things come upon the earth, so to speak. So, isn't that interesting? We have a high social status, huge social media, huge following, and Tucker Carlson is leading a full front of trying to get information out. And what does he know? He said he's seen some documents. I don't know. You can only speculate. I can only speculate for what he's seen. He talks highly about the congressional hearing and whatnot, and it's just something to document. So continue on. Tucker Carlson's opinions are derived from his personal contacts and his own research, and he believes that the UAP phenomenon is an ancient and connected to the world's religions. He stated that his sources have informed him about interactions between interdimensional beings and the U.S. government. Carlson's views on the UAP phenomenon are not without controversy, as some have criticized his lack of scientific rigor or his tendency to conflate the supernatural with the unexplained. Well, these individuals that are scoffing at this individual, it's kind of baffling my mind that these people of higher power, I just got hit in the nose with the mic. Hello, welcome to Visual Disturbance. These people that are at the higher elite power, you know, you have all these books, all these artifacts, all this knowledge, and then the American people are like in a like subdued state to not have any information, not even, and you'll see somebody come up there and say, hey, I think this is in the scriptures. I think this is in the Samaritan tablets. I think, and they never give a clear-cut answer. Well, I can assure you, I'm not the sharpest tool in the toolbox, but I can tell you this, sharpest tool in the toolbox, or in the knife drawer of the kitchen, I can assure you that the biblical narrative talks about these specific things, okay? So what if we have, you know, they've even admitted there's a lot of, let's just say, when the politics stance, there's a lot of people have spoke about these things in the light that they have been briefed, women, men have spoke that these are interdimensional to a certain origin. You know, they get into biologics and all this other nonsense. So basically what we're looking at here is the same as old. It's pretty, it is a little complex, but it's pretty simplified. The sons of God shouted for joy when the foundations was laid in the earth. And today, people say the sons of God was this. We are the sons of God. Well, we are because of what Christ did. But back in the Old Testament, the sons of God was of a fallen angel narrative. Okay, and then they had children that bore giants, and then that's where you get the nephilim. That's where you get the giants in the earth in those days, and people don't want to seem to grasp that idea or that narrative. It seems like it's being shrugged under the rug, so to speak. So the UFO research communities approach the subject with more, let's just say, evidence-based perspective. And what do you guys think? You know, I got this skull in the background. I'm going to take a break here, just a small break, and look at the chat. You have this, you know, you have this skull in the background. We have these megalithic structures all over the place. I know this is just a graphical stance, but we have the Quetzalcoatl, the Mayans, we can go on and on. You know, even there's a big subject now with the Tartarians, the Tartars. That's coming back. You know, and people seem to be like in a slumber. It just seems like we miss, I don't know. It's just strange to me. I'm not pointing anybody out or, you know, putting anybody down or discrediting anybody. It just seems to me that things are a little rocky road. Rocky road. Hello, ice cream. Okay, so we got another one. Let's move on. So we have another one. This one's going to be interesting. This has been around for a long time. And, you know, speaking of Tartarian and technological advancements, technology that, you know, people say, well, we're far advanced of mankind and we're 2024, we are superior intellect and a being of, you know, we're at the highest on the high, you know, as far as the food chain. We're the best of the best. You know, there's always I hate to use that term, there's always people saying goat. I can't stand it. I can't stand that. It drives me insane if they would even realize what they've or even saying with the whole goat rhetoric. It'll make a man go cuckoo. So here's another one. This is gonna be fun. We're only 24 minutes in. We haven't even got into the good stuff yet. Well, yeah, here we go. So this is a good one. This is the Antikythera. Antikythera, say that 15,000 times in a row, and I think you would start speaking a different language. So Antikytherium mechanism, often referred as the world's first analog computer, is a fantasizing device that dates back to the 1st or the 2nd century. Discovered in 1901 from a shipwreck near the Greek island, literally, that's why they called it, Antikythera. That's why they come up with it. It showcases advanced knowledge of astronomy and engineering possessed by the ancient civilizations. So, this shoebox-sized device was made of bronze and consisted of a front and a back plate and a central plate as the mounting board or 4 gear trains and a total of 69 gears in all. I thought that was intriguing. It was housed in a wooden box with a crank on the side. The mechanism was used to explain the cycles of the, well, I'm going to say it here, but I'm going to get disgusted. Planets, planes, let's say that, which seems to sometimes reverse the course. But it also could predict eclipse, star events, chart the phases of the moons, and see what certain constellations, of course, seasons and years, and literally, when you get back into Greek mythology, talking about Olympic Games, how it was based. And it's talking about the device's complexity is sophisticated and remarkable, especially considering the time in which it was created. So here's what, and it goes on. It's a testament to the being ingenious and intellectual curiosity of the ancient Greeks. So we're far more technological, intellectual, sophisticated that many people give the credit for today. So we have this Antikythera mechanism. Is it a masterpiece? Is it a masterpiece? We can't even make, I will tell you, and I'm not trying to put down anybody in 2024, but we can't even get a vehicle to somehow make it manageable on the road. And you have this supposedly ancient device here that predates, let's just say, horse and buggy. That wasn't too long ago. And what is going on with this Greek archaeology? Then you get into what's going on into, is there been little mini cataclysms? Have there been like hidden information upon the earth? Is there something going on here? Whoever had this had to have had astronomy or some type of astronomical constellations. Let's just say mapping of the stars. And they had to have knowledge of some shape or form. And guess what? You can go to megalithic sites all over the earth. You can go to the Cahokia Mounds. You can go to the Angel Mounds in Indiana, and they all have constellation stance. They had some. Did they have a mechanism? Did they have a? I think I'm gonna go around and say, hey, do you have an Antikythera mechanism? I'm gonna start going up to people like that and probably get punched in the face or something. But it might help my vision, you know what I mean? That's a little, might break my nose. But anyways, remember I said it was going to be a fun, humorous program. Fun. This is going to be fun. So this Antikythera mechanism, it baffles the mind to me. So you have this Tartarian concept, the whole Tartarian narrative is all covered up. We supposedly there's some gentleman just recently, I won't say the name, that had this big documentary out, and there's these I seen this 10 years ago probably, and they started scrubbing it from the internet. There's these kids going around with these hovercrafts and whatnot. Maybe they had their Antikytherism mechanism. Maybe they's going around, and maybe it was their sundial. Hello. But, okay, so here it's going to get really interesting. So this is a site that I've been wanting to go to, and you all know, everybody that's watched the Visual Disturbance community and Visual Disturbance channel, you guys know that I totally dig. I'm all about Google Earth. I'm all about it. So there's this site has been on my radar for a long time, right? But we are going to go somewhere, and I want to know your all's thoughts. I want to know what you all think, and it's pretty comical, because I have said on other broadcasts that Kentucky is, Death Valley. But let's get into this site. We're going to go to this site here, everybody. We're going to go to Death Valley, California. So Death Valley, California, we are going to hone in. A lot of people cannot stand me saying hone in. We're going to zone in. How about that? Zone in on this dark, portal thing, mabob, and this stargate, which, if you look, there's one that has been broken. Hello. What is that about, everybody? What do you all think? Everybody in the chat, why is there 1 and 2 and there's a twin? And y'all know how I get into this whole twin narrative. And with the NASA NASA has a twin program. We have all this other craziness. And I could go on and just go on and on. But we have this figure 8 concept. We have the Ouroboros, the CERN mechanism. We have the same thing at Göbekli Tepe when me and David Carrico did the other night on Cities Lost in Time. We have this 8 imagery. Okay, so, but if you look at it, if you really focus in, there's tanks. There's these little tanks and little tiny facilities all around. There's a tank here. Let me zoom in. There's a tank there. And there's this really, it's just out in the middle of a rural, the desert, So why is there little tanks? Why are we guarding this facility? What is going on here? What is going on? So when I looked at it, I thought, is this one of the most intriguing places probably in the west coast of America? What is going on here? Is this a strange portal in the middle of literally of the desert, surrounded by literally discarded military equipment? It's not even, they're not using, they're just sitting there. Is it like for prop? Is it Stargate 2026 production coming up, a new reboot of the Stargate Atlantis series? What is going on here with this disregarded equipment? What is going on? So some speculate it could be testing ground or something out of the ordinary. But this description of this giant pool of darkness certainly adds to a mystery. So look, however, I want to point something out. So I looked around and I remember I had this documented and I'm like, man, this is a Stargate. But I said, what does this remind me of? So if you look at, I'll give you a little 360 tour of what we're looking at here. A lot of people will be like, well, it looks like Space Force. It's just an abyss of death. There's a certain term I can't use on this platform. There's some, yeah. So there's a term I can't use. But anyways, so there's one that's been dismantled, or it wasn't intentionally dismantled to access, and they have to have both. So this is what I'm getting into. Did they have their Antikythera mechanism? Did they have their Greek mythology, sundial, technological advancements to, let's either shut it off or pull it in? So, speaking of CERN, I want to point something out here. This is one's going to blow your mind. This one is so bizarre and so hard to even bring up the name. But before we get into this place that I'm going to disclose, we have you can get on to Stargates, ancient myths, legends, and, talking about real Stargates. We could talk about other dimensions. What is going on with this site? And I do have something like in Kentucky. Is it another dimension like in this backyard of, Death Valley? But yeah, like in Kentucky, my backyard, we got all kinds of stuff popping off over my local neck of the woods. But before we go on to the site that I'm going to show you that looks so similar, I'm going to do something this is something I've never done before. And I'm going to do a Bible verse. Visual Disturbance, daily Bible verse. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to jump into this. And I hope everybody enjoys this. Here we go. Here's my daily Bible verse. So, that being said, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt not be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will forget thy children. So people are perishing. They are perishing for the lack of knowledge. When you see things like this Stargate, for instance, and all these military applications, we've been so, let's just say, I shouldn't say dumb, but we've been so conditioned to believe and be so suppressed when we have, like, let's just say entertainment, fairs, all this other stuff, like to build something. I'm going to watch what I say. Build something to put on a front. Let's just say that. And it makes everybody's mind go cuckoo. And we get defragmented from our reality. So, get back on this real quick on Google Earth here real quick. I'll show you this imagery here at Death Valley, this ancient Stargate supposedly, or dark abyss that's coming upon us. So, there's this site. You can go to it. I'm going to show it to you. Let's just get into it. This site, these are on like a river, okay? And you can only go to certain times to observe these, and through I think it's after the summer. I think if I might be wrong on that. Forgive me if I'm wrong. But I think the water elevations rise and decrease, and you're able to see this place. So The name is so hard to pronounce. Sarlasalinga, I think everybody out there in that area, Sri Lanka is in India, okay? But isn't this bizarre that these sites that's under the water look very similar to this site that is in Death Valley, California? I thought that was weird. It's like a larger scale here and a smaller scale. These are small scale. Literally, some of them are big. Some of them are bigger than feet. Some are a couple of feet long. I've seen people walk on the river, and it's pretty baffling. So we have this site. So Sarhasa Linga. So guess what this site is? It is a sacred symbol to Shiva. Imagine that. Imagine that. I never want to disrespect or discredit, civilizations and cultures, but I just want to point this out, that it's a sacred symbol of Lord Shiva. And it looks like that, and you have that. So we have the 8 imagery just like they do at CERN. You can go look this up in Google Earth. It's pretty just phenomenal. So we have this Indian site in India, and it is a riverbed. It's scattered with large rocks, and some of them, well, they have Sarlasalinga. They have them all spread across this river. It's created like a huge touristic site, okay? So apparently the story behind this site, it said the king was advised to a priest to make 1,000 of these Sarlasalingas to be blessed by children, okay, for children. The king had every stone at the bed of the Shamama River converted into these. The river bedded, dotted, and was a sacred symbol site that drawed pilgrims and tourists alike, and it also does to this day. What's going on here? So I said earlier when I was speaking about this particular site, the best time to visit this site is from October to March, okay, when the water level in the river is lower, allowing the better visibility for these artifacts, or if you want to call them artifacts or structures. It's worth noting that these places there's like, it's like any other site or megalithic site that I've looked into. It's either there's vandalism going on, a bunch of nonsense, people trying to extract them, steal them, all that good stuff. And it's not, and supposedly this is also a religious significance, and it's rich in their culture and the historical heritage of India. And it's supposedly a place where spirituality and nature coexist in a harmony. And so what is your all's take on that? Because I've got this Google Earth imagery here of this Death Valley observation here in California and desert with these disregarded military equipment everywhere guarding this facility. What happened here? Did we have something come out of the earth? Was there the giants in the earth in those days? Did something pop out like the Kandahar giant? Did the Kandahar giant pop out? And that's a little sarcasm. Did his brother pop out and they said, hey, we got to shut this place down. Let's tear down the other side. Let's break the portal. That's just a little speculation here on Visual Disturbance. But hello. So anyway, switching gears, that place alone will just about, I just can't even, words leave my lips. I can't even come up with the words because it's something I can't even comprehend. Because why is that in the West Coast? But I will tell you, there's a big significance of what I've told you today, that those traditions and everything are over here. And they have been here thousands and thousands of years. Of the Shiva and whatnot. So, kind of wild. So, let's switch gears here. So, we have this place in Italy. So, we have this Val Camonica in Italy. We have these two characters. Let's just say there's some petroglyphs here. And we have a prehistoric petroglyph. It almost looks like they have, arrows or, maybe a bow. or some type of ancient device. So there's a lot of speculation with this place. It's edged in these valley rocks over a period of 8,000 years. I thought that was interesting that they have it dated at that specific amount of time. Offered a unique window that they say, people that have studied this site said that he lives in the lives of these people and the beliefs of ancient inhabitants of this religion, that there's some type of like hunting, as agriculture, navigation, war, and magic. And there's something to this point that these petroglyphs, which was first discovered in the 20th century, had a wide range of these of magic, war. They're trying to depict it spread across all kinds of different places around the circumference of this valley that's in Italy. So they're saying that this is one of the largest collections of prehistoric petroglyphs in the world. Some of these depict strange, otherworldly beings. So I guess maybe Tucker Carlson is right when it comes into interdimensional. Beings have been sparked with theories of ancient alien encounters. That's what they're saying on this particular place. What is going on? Is there something here, significance, to prove that there is a battle of something, shape, or form? I have no clue, but we can only speculate. But I just wanted to point that out because I'm on a petroglyph, and we're going to get into some more petroglyphs to kind of literally set the tone that we don't live in a world that we thought we lived in. Let's just say that. We live in a world that we don't know anything about, and there's powers that be are pulling the strings and making us believe that we don't have to know anything. We'll just go along with the status quo. So anyways, let's continue on. Let's go to the next site here. This next site is very interesting, and let me pull it up here real quick. It's a very intriguing site. I have I've said this and point this out on my Facebook in the, top left-hand corner, Visual Disturbance Facebook. If you want to check it out, the link is in the description. It lets y'all know what's going on, community, and all the different things we're up to in FOJC and Visual Disturbance. But I have this site right here that we're going to go to. So say this name about 10 times in a row, and I think it's called Tassili Raga Cave Paintings. And so we have this Algeria. So we have Algeria location. But I want to point this out, and that is the best Kentucky interpretation I can pull on this term. It's very Tassilia. There you go. But I want to point this out real quick. On this particular side of this petroglyph, we have a giant on the left, and as you can see, we have a little small depiction here of a small person. A lot of people have speculated and said it's either a child, but I wanted to hone in on, or really concentrate on, the elongated skull and the giant stature of the character that is painted or carved into this area. So what do you guys think? The first thing that goes into my mind is we have nephilim manipulation going on here. In Algeria, they knew what was going on, and they had the means to put a warning out to anybody in the future, and I thought that's something to document. So this ancient art was possibly they say, mind-altering substances. This area has a, let's just say this area is known for one of the oldest known petroglyphs depicting what some believe to be used as psychedelic mushrooms. Yeah. So psychedelic mushrooms, well, you can get the same effect with some, let's just say I got to choose what I say wisely. Let's just say there's some devices you can put on your head that cause you to, let's just say, and I'm going to say it, astro project, but we thought it's for technology and entertainment purposes. Okay. I'm not going to say anymore. I continue on here. So we have this place, this giant head. Is somebody on a psychedelic mushroom trip? Did somebody just go off and fall off the, let's just say, the tater wagon, so to speak? So these paintings here that are supposedly estimated to date back to 6000 BC provide a window into the lives of the ancient ancestors, and showing a much greener Sahara with an abundance of wildlife. The art includes a variety of scenes from the daily life activities to, here we go, to more spiritual and ritualistic images that suggest the presence of a complex belief system. So, here we go. And then one other thing, one of the intriguing things of this is a depiction, what some interpret it as a shaman. There's some other little depictions here on the petroglyphs. They say shaman taking the psychedelics. And this has led to speculate about the role of these substances in ancient spiritual practices. So, adding fuel to the fire on a speculation standpoint, why is there even the scholars have agreed to interpretation of these images, as some argue that the so-called mushroom figures are not necessarily mushrooms at all. So what we got? We got something like, you know, Mr. Tucker Carlson speaking about these interdimensional. We got some kind of like, you know, Ant-Man looking like creature. You know, we got different nephilim creatures coming in and out of the gates. I don't know. So could there be some significance to this whole thing? Could there be? So, and there's also people that believe, this is a strong belief here, people say these are ancient ancestors, and there's something to do with, you know, the whole thing in nature of UFO, UAP narrative in this whole area. So, what's your guys' thoughts? This one is one to remember and one to document. And we have places that are really bizarre like that in Kentucky. It'll make you go down the river here and go through the jungle and want to be breaking down and popping this big giant skull head to see what's inside the cave. A little sarcasm there today. So we have another location. This is in America. In America, we have another petroglyph. We have Seco Canyon in Utah petroglyphs. This site, you see the horned like creatures. We see like alien like looking gray, tall, large gray, small mantis like people, and we even have a, let's just say, Ezekiel's wheel and a wheel up on the right corner of one of the slides here. And it literally has an X on it, and it looks like a cog. I guess it's the. I guess they're telling you how to take the Antikythera. I think that's how you pronounce it. Antikythera mechanism. I guess that's their let's just say device to jump ship in the Stargate world. That's a little fun humor for visual disturbance. So this place in Utah, you can find the date. These petroglyphs are dated back to 6000 BC. These strange figures have no arms, large eyes, and are also described as ghost-like. Were they the product of some ancient This is what this says. Here we are. A shamanic, like a shaman's trip, or did the locals really see something of the world? Was there something going on? You know, I've looked at a lot of sites here in all over the Ohio Valley, all over. And they say very similar things. There's ancient shaman symbols that refer to they've seen things. They see these gates. They see them in the forest. They use they use incense. I think that's what they use. They use stuff to like make smoke appear and like actually see the portal opening, the rippling. And it's just really strange. It's really strange. I don't know what's going on. We live in a bizarro world, and I think with Mr. Tucker Carlson and all these individuals and the UFO phenomenon, and like I said earlier, the angels, sons of God, angels, a shout out for joy, sons of God, Old Testament, shout out for joy that the foundation was laid. So the foundation's laid, and we have this separate category. So anybody with any sense would know that there's something going on, and that's what they want us to believe. Well, we're not alone in the universe, all this nonsensical mindset. Well, obviously we're not, because the Indians, these other tribes, these other civilizations was human, and giving depictions on petroglyphs, hieroglyphics, to show us that these things are not what they seem. And there's people, like I said, like I presented today, you have to be in a shaman or in a trance, or when you receive this so-called psychedelics, you have to be able to have this so-called magical land of, I'm not going to say it. So one more thing. This is really going to be, let's shift gears here. I got to watch what I say on this one. I got to watch it. I got to watch this one. This one's going to be a touchy one, a very touchy, controversial. That's why I left it to the very end, because it's so controversial. I don't want to mess anything up. So let's get into this. So the individuals that's on the right hand of the screen here, we had in May the 8th, 2024. I will not show the video because, well, it keeps getting kind of, let's just say, submerged into the, stargate. That's a little fun there. That must be where it's going, down the toilet at Death Valley, California. But anyways, so they had it May the 8th, 2024. I will make a promise to you all. I will put this video up if you're wanting to see it on Visual Disturbance, Facebook, and I do have Twitter account, Instagram, all these other social medias. I will put it all over that too, if you're intrigued and interested into this. So let's continue on. So this Homeland Security, we have a Homeland Security. I have to watch what I say. There was a hearing on this mysterious, I'm going to spell it out, Havana syndrome. And there's these incidences where people are hearing and focusing on this anomalous, like there's these health incidents, okay, with this Havana syndrome. Okay, I gotta spell things out. Okay, which have reported an increased number of, let's just say, people that live here in the West, abroad, and even in the homeland. Okay, these symptoms and all these different things. There's the reports of U.S. diplomats, military, intelligence officers, families. And let's just say there's other medical things that I cannot say, hearing loss, etc. And they're saying that these incidents have reported at various locations worldwide. Okay, and there's some huge concern. They literally, on this video that I will share on my Facebook, they admitted that there is powers that be, that there's some direct, I'm going to spell it out, ENERGY, that have, let's just say, potential to be nefarious and something that you don't want to be playing around in. So they're saying that this hearing shed a lot of light on what has been going on these. There's some U.S. personnel, etc. I gotta watch what I say. Respond to this mysterious phenomenon. Okay, so what I'm saying and what I'm bringing to the table here, based off looking at the video and based off looking at the evidence, the place and when they had this meeting on May the 8th is huge, significantly tied to what Tucker Carlson, what Edgar Cayce's been speaking about, what all these congressional hearings people have been speaking about. It is the same scenario. The documents was dropped in April of 2021, I think, that, we have these births and abductions and all this other stuff. We have, once again, a fallen angel aspect to the whole narrative. So this Havana syndrome tied back to, they're having meetings about it, but there's technological, let's just say, weapons that can be used for let's just not say they're not good. So what I will say on that, there's no weapon formed against me that shall not prosper, because I'm trying to walk in the truth and the light of Jesus Christ, and I'm trying to walk that walk. And that's why I brought the Bible verse up, that people seem to be rejecting knowledge in our reality. And it's very, very, very concerning. But I guess if you got an Antikythera mechanism in your backyard, let me know, and maybe we can, put in the 7 stargate coordinates, and maybe we can pull back up and shoot back over to Death Valley, California, and maybe everything will find some things that people can't see. That's a little sarcasm here on Visual Disturbance channel. I'm totally kidding around. Do not go to Death Valley, the desert, this disclosed location there in the middle of nowhere. Do not go there. But I just want to tell everybody, that is it for the program. The content has been the chicken. I think the chicken from earlier has turned off the water spigot. I think the chicken he finally turned the water spigot off, or turned it on, and I'm not hydrated. I need to stop and drink some water and some coffee. But the chicken decided to continue the course here. Hopefully, it won't take them all day to turn the dial. Hopefully, they will get the right mechanism to articulate what they're doing. But anyways, welcome to Visual Disturbance. It's a blessing to be here. I hope everybody enjoyed it. All new subscribers, thank you all so much for being so patient. I've been working diligently to get a new program. So, it's going to be a news program. I hope everybody enjoyed today's broadcast, because I totally did. It would be nice if I could do one once a week. That is something I'm working toward. Hopefully I can continue this flow and maybe continue on Wednesday. Don't hold me to that. But news that is not for everybody. This is kind of where I'm going to set the tone here, and hopefully everybody's totally enjoyed this new broadcast, because I was super, super excited to do this and present the material to you. So hopefully it'll get your mind off all the nonsense that's going on to the politics and economics and all the other stuff that can drain you. Hopefully you learned something today, and hopefully it was a blessing, and hope everybody enjoyed it. And if you did, hit that like button. If you didn't, well, I would prefer you not to hit the thumbs down, but if you don't hit the like button, hit the share button. And if you want me to continue on this invisible floating off into the jungle, I can sit here for a few more minutes, maybe. But anyways, I hope everybody enjoyed the program. Thank you all for your time. I wanted to point that out. Everybody's time is very valuable, and anybody come on here and just hear me speak about these controversial topics, and just having a broadcast, and for everybody to take their time out of the middle of the afternoon to spend time with me on Visual Disturbance, I really, 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 really appreciate it. And thanks for all the donations. Hit all the links in the description. Facebook, Twitter. I'm trying to build that Twitter / X account up for Visual Disturbance. Instagram. I'm trying to build a community. The reason why I'm doing it, I will make an announcement, because FOJC, where Donna is not doing too good with her health, I'm trying to facilitate and move the pieces around so we can actually have a place for a community where we can actually see where we're going to go live, etc. And I just want to help them out. So if you feel led to hit all those links up, follow me on those on social media, I really would appreciate it. But that being said, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and watch out for stargates. Watch out for all kinds of nonsense and these so-called entities that they're propagating all over the airwaves. But anyways, Visual Disturbance, I'm your host, Brian Reese. Thanks for being here. Subscribe. I cannot emphasize that enough, because sometimes the YouTube algorithm suppresses it, and I know a lot of people have been desubscribed, and they're not doing that. It's not me. I don't unsubscribe. I don't take any subscribers off. I don't do that. So I apologize for that. That's out of my control. But other than that, hit all the like button. Hit that. I would say, how I do it on FOJC, pound it, I don't even remember what we did. We did the Pounders. They do the Pounders live on Midnight Ride, and then we go boom, on the FOJC. But anyways, don't forget to check out the Holy Commission Boot Camp with Britt Graham tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and 6 p.m. Central Time. And that is it, folks. Everybody out there, have a great day. Shalom. Be blessed. Enjoy your afternoon. Thanks for attending with me here on Visual Disturbance. I am out.